It's the Crypto Sniper. So remember, book a call on the link below if you want to trade with us. Free mini series also below. Subscribe and hit the bell, otherwise you'll never be notified. Let's talk about crypto. So we did the Bitcoin and Ethereum next up leg surge. That was the video here. There he speaks, the man in the grandpa vest. He looks like he's wearing his grandpa's vest from a good era, Western era of some period bygone. Look at those animations. Anyway, we did a little bit of drawing as well for you. We were highlighting a couple of key levels, the 16K, which we anticipate to fall. We'll go into that in a bit in terms of where we see that is now. I think it's not too far away. We did warn that it wasn't cut and dried. We overall felt it was be an upside move. Ethereum was a bit twitchier and a little bit earlier. I'm just looking for the draw. There we go. That we probably most wanted. But it wasn't the break, as I was talking about it, was a fake break. So it was highlighting that there was a bit of skittishness, but there was also some distribution to happen prior to the 16K level. We've yet to run that level as he checks other screens at the moment. Oh, actually not true. We've just run it. We've just had a push through 16K. We'll go to the live charts in a minute. So this was the initial draw. That's going to was the accelerated draw if we were lucky, but it could square up. And if I drift a little bit further ahead, we try to keep these vids a little bit shorter. We were also highlighting, there we go, that it could in fact dip down. You see the blue line, the two blue lines. That was actually the scenario that was almost better for us to happen, but will require a bit more patience. So we streamed that November the 9th. We're the 11th, 2020. That should be a very dangerous day for us with this death cult that loves interesting numbers. The 11/11/2020. Wow. Anyway, let's hope the sky doesn't fall on our heads. But the blue squeeze is in fact, in essence, what we're probably going to end up redrawing again for you here. So it did indeed have an exhaustive, that fake break did indeed pull back a fair bit. Let me draw it in the blue. Why not stick with a color? So for us as HVF traders in our premium area, that actually was the breakout event. It was at that point there. You had a natural drift back in. It's quite common in technical analysis. It's called the break and then feign. It's one of our defined stages of 5 stages of a breakout. You'll learn about it more if you want to learn about it and be able to spot it in your trading. And that was it there. So kind of 15.4, big key level for us. So the interesting parts is I think we're going to run the 16.3 and we're probably going to have a rest. That's interesting. I said 16K. That was on MEX that it's run the 16. It's not on Binance that it's run it. So forgive me, we haven't run the 16, not on Binance anyway. So the derived platforms have slightly different values. So we have our hot pot strategy, we have our lukewarm, and we have our investment strategy. So just the hot pots have run 16K. It's probably forward guessing a little bit that there's going to be a run. So I think after we run this 16.3, we'll probably have some degree of pullback. But overall, we're thinking you're going to get very close to 17,000. You're going to get into the 16.9s and probably just run the 17,000. So 16K, in our view, as a key level of significance, will fall in the fairly short, near term. And that's less of a brave call now when you're sitting at 15,895. I mean, it's only $100 away. But more importantly, it was fairly significant when you were down here at the 15.4. And we're adding to that further and saying you're going to end up running through that 17K. I should actually pull a chart a little bit down to get those numbers in, which squeezes everything a tiny bit. So this turned out a bit of a fake break, which was a teaser. And a nubile little squeezer. She was a teaser. But she left you with your pants down. There she blows, or she didn't blow, it depends how you see it. And we actually ended up getting a deeper dive. And that was what I was kind of warning about in the view, that you wouldn't necessarily get that squeeze like that all the way up. And then as we were preparing it and going live stream, we had that dip down and you had the fake break up there. That was the pink squeeze that wasn't, and you ended up a dip down at 14.8, which is another reason why you can't be too early. Timing is very important for small time frame and medium time frame. It's not so small. It's 30-minute that we're pointing to over there. But you know, this happened some time ago. If I just put the verticalizer on there, you made that high point there roughly on the 6th of November. Now that's some 5 days ago. So this pattern has been in gestation for 5 days, although I will say it was only in the beginning or late last night when I was watching it and updating the premium guys on that we have officially broken. That you broke on the 11th, roughly just into the 11th, and it's made its high just in some pretty close to the same time frames, very early mornings of. And now we're peddling, and as I say, I can see the 7,000, 17,000 just being fine. So our target is just before the key logical round number. What tends to happen is everybody just charges the momentum through, so you get a small amount of overperformance at minimum. By the way, you could get a larger amount of overperformance, but at minimum I would say I think there's likely we're going to run the 17,000, even though the target is in the upper 16.9s. So still some way to go at 15.9s. It's another $1,000. Could be enjoyable to have. We got our first interim just run over here. So again, our premium guys, some of them that were late could have got in on a return move there after running the first interim and pullback. Another classic case of what we expect in breakout. So it's worth, it's HVF method. There's no better way to trade the markets in my worldview. That's blowing your own horn a little bit because it's something I derived, but I apologize for that. I mean it with all humility. I don't know how I trade the markets. You know, you can keep your moving averages, you can keep your RSIs and everything else. You can keep absolutely everything. You can even keep, you know, all forms of indicators. The volume by price is very valuable. And was further endorsing us a little bit. It was a bit twitchy for me. I wouldn't say I felt super comfortable at all points. I didn't like these sell-offs. That was quite high momentum there. And so was this one over here. So we had to keep bearing in mind that the chance was that it could rotate. But late last night, once it had run that, we were biasing bull. But it was still walking its way out. This hasn't been a ripper, as you can see. So this is more typical of what I'd call mid-trend and even second half, getting towards late trend. You know, if you have an American football game, they have quarters there. You're kind of end of third quarter of this before you get a bigger pullback. And we'll see that, I think, around about the 19, but we'll probably get a bit of a reaction here at the 17 as well on the running of that, if we turn out to be accurate. Anyway, it was an up move, not a down move. So we're back in some form again. But don't be overconfident, and certainly for those of you that are not already in, be careful about chasing back in. This is walking its way up. It's not yet a ripper by any means. It does need to take the previous high, which was all-time highs, not all-time highs from the bull market, but since the bull market. And I think we'll get to that point not too distant future where in fact we'll be all-time highs. Let's have a look. What was that high point for point of interest? So 15,960. We fell just shy of the 16K. So you can see the 16K has been a bit of a leaner, and this whole structure is probably a wind up to get properly through it. And I think the momentum is going to carry you probably just through the 17 before maybe you have your next pause. How's the volatility gone? Well, it's not actually been too extreme because it's walking its way up. So if we put on, I didn't mean that one. Let's go historical and get rid of that fella. You can see it's walking its way up. You're actually very low vol here, and that's after the break. So if you use volume, which you should do, I've intentionally decluttered the chart a little bit for the purpose of this presentation because not everybody's familiar with everything that we do. But you can see that the volume has picked up to a moderate degree. It isn't as extreme as it was on this pullback, nor did it hit the giddy heights of this period. And extreme volume often associated also with extreme volatility. So this is kind of your profile, very low here, and then whoop, and then a little bit more, and then kind of low there, then working its way up, down, kind of low along here, then a little bit of a how's your auntie, then where's Uncle Bob, and then you go down, and then there we go. So, and then just before your break, you get very, very low. So that's very, very low, and then pop, tiny little break, push of volume, but it's there, and then very, very low again for very low vol. So the volatility were at their low points, the volume was at their low points here, and so was the volatility. They often go hand in hand together. So if you look at that point, you're dropping down, you get that little bump, and then you're down here, you're dropping down lower. And that's pretty much your low for that down move. Then you've been increasing in volume, and with the volume increase, you're also getting the volatility walking its way up. But as you can see from this, it's not right up there as it was as we were getting rejected. That was roughly the time I was doing that YouTube, actually, to just broke and feign. We wanted to tell Freeview, we'd done all we'd wanted to do with our premium guys, and we wanted to tell Freeview, hey, there's a bit of a squeeze here, but we think it could pull back one more time, as it did, aka the blue option. But we didn't expect it to be that aggressive. It was a little bit of a big one, and you can see your volatility went quite high there, because you first run up, gain a bit of momentum to the up, and then you hit the wall and you get thrown back down. That's what causes thrashiness, and that's what bumps the volatility indicator. So we needed that to calm the hell back down as part of the squeezy Japanese Z. Yes, like a Nissan GTR. And you need to do that right down, and that's what ended up happening. So now it's working its way up. So it hasn't surged yet. Done a little tip-tap-toe, and that's where we are. The other important point is, how do you position? Broadly, I've been maintaining to the guys that having a good chunk of Bitcoin is probably best. We've also been watching Ethereum. Yes, we also liked YFI, actually. I might just flash that chart by you. It's been in an upside setup even against Bitcoin. But again, this is when you're getting what I call a tiny bit exotic, you should always do that in the much lower percentages. So Bitcoin and Ethereum should be your major. And I almost differentiate Ethereum from the rest of the alts. Let's not kid ourselves. They've got a real dev team. They have upped their game quite a bit. And some of the many multitude of faults that they have are being attacked. You can see Bitcoin up 12 and Ethereum up 15. Those have been probably the best over the last 7 days, with the exception of Link, which is one of the ones we sometimes mention as our wild cards. Link, and who else? Cardano is not too far off Bitcoin, or there around 12.5. Not a bad performance in Litecoin. So overall, crypto's generally doing well. But actually, if you've got the bulk, you've got the ability to get in and out, the depth for those of you that have reasonable size to get in and out very close to market on limit orders. Remember, use limit orders. Ethereum and Bitcoin have probably done the best. There's no need to be hunting low down here. My secrecy favorite, not good at the moment. And I'm not holding very much at all of it, because it's been showing it's actually not got the zip that it needs. So at the end of the day, if you're about making money, price and price moves are what matters. And Bitcoin and Ethereum have been difficult to beat, with Cardano maybe pulling level and Chain just giving you a little bit more. So I did mention Ethereum, so let's do that one next. So ETH slightly higher. It broke earlier. It broke kind of earlier to Bitcoin. If I put them under each other, you'll see that we expanded there, but then it also went to sleep on us, and it gave you that second break. That was what I was just tweeting through on the Crypto Sniper as well, that you actually got a wind-up squeeze. Baby Japanesey, the abandoned Japanesey squeezy baby. Squeeze out a Japanesey baby, my baby. That's a bit too much, isn't it? Anyway, so the big one bled out. The next one, there's your little umbilical cord, and there's your little Japanese baby. And then, of course, it's popped again, which is great. This is continuation, and that's what it should do. You got that And there you go. Again, other important facts is that when you're trading in HVF method, you'll learn a little bit about this if you come on board, but the volume should support the major inflection points. That's the inflection point down. We refer to these as inflection points. Volume was actually higher on the support here on Ethereum. And then again, a little bit of a rise there on your high. Now you had a more complex high. We call this carporting. Base plating along the bottom and carporting. You have a carported high. We'll talk about Table Mountain, Second Impulse. You can learn a lot about structures and what they mean. If you want to join the community, hit the link below. Have a chat and a call to someone like you. Not a sales guy. Someone just like you who joined the community themselves a couple of years ago. And you'll get a breakdown. Anyway, so Third Impulse was in. Boom, off we broke. And there we go. So what was the target that we spoke of on Ethereum? Just shy, he said, almost slurring his words. I've got to watch that pomegranate juice. Just shy of the 500. I would think you'll probably do a technical run through it. Just do a wee squizzer. Yeah, I'll have to check that and give you guidance on it, but overall the official target is just shy of 500, so there's plenty more dollars to go. But if you'd been in from the beginning and taken the break over here, you'd have been in from 453. You'd be getting around 12.5-13%, which is what Ethereum's done the last 12 days, and it won't take you, in my view, 12 days to get that again. So this is going to be a nice little surge period, and that process is already gone. And I think you will surpass that as well. So you'll get a 500 and something. But I'd probably reduce sizing by the time that you're crossing the round number. So I suppose the 500 is going to be a little bit like the Bitcoin 17,000. Although, yeah, I'd just run would be where I'm at on the targets. We'll have targets on the HVF target. I've not done the draw on this particular chart. This is Binance. Binance an awful platform, using their margins and their wallets and yeah, sigh, moan, complain. Anyway, we're lucky. We're making money. We are trading long. We've bulked up our weighting in crypto for the key periods when it's moving. We should be thanking the stars. By the way, for those of you that watch the Richard Hart and some of the other things, it's important to clear a few things up. So anybody who's got a good brain and sounds interesting, I'm interested in hearing their view. I don't necessarily endorse their token. We've had Simon Dixon of Bank to the Future. I don't endorse, or neither do I demote his token. I don't have a view. We had big blowback once when we spoke to Roger Ver. Everyone was like, you're so awful. No, I'm interested in what people have to say that were there from the beginning, or that are early, or kind of smart, or have shown the means to build wealth. Anybody who meets any of those criteria is potentially interesting. Just because you talk to them and ask them some questions and you give them a fair shake to tell you what they think, doesn't mean you endorse their coin, doesn't mean they do anything. Nobody I interview have I ever asked for money or ever had offers of money. Although scammers are always writing to us to say, will you do a soft interview with our CEO on this new ICO? Every token person that actually has a stake in the game, like Richard Hart on Hex, like maybe Simon on his Bank to the Future and his other business deals that he's doing, although he's a little more subtle about his marketing aspects than, say, Richard. Like Roger, who's very, very strongly wears Bitcoin Cash on his sleeve. None of them paid to chat. None of them asked if I would do it, and I'm not looking for money for people to do, and I've never received. Quite simple. End of story. I tweeted it out, but there's a few people that think there's something dark, and very few people. So absolutely not. And I'm not interested in it. I make enough money through my trading activities and my business activities. I'm interested to hear what smart people say about cryptos, and I'm going to quite some effort to share that view on Freeview and many YouTubes. And the point is, you listen to somebody and you choose that which sounds right and you reject that which doesn't. Simple as that. It's common sense, and I like to ask opinions, but I can generally feel when there's something that I'm not agreeing with and I don't like the smell of, and at the same time I can see things that make plain sense logic. And it's really powerful to get people like that to talk on other people's coins when they're not talking about their own stuff where they've got rose-tinted glasses, because then they're very able to criticize, and then you can learn a few things. Anyway, enough of that preamble. So Ethereum looking good, and as I say, probably for a run through 500 and walking its way up. Not super volatile yet, but it has cranked up a little bit. That was good. I'll show you YFI that kind of came into our worldview. A little bit soft since Ethereum started running, actually. Not super impressed. There's a little bit of a threat of head and shoulder structure there, but it is also in degree of upside there, and that too had a decent target that is yet to be attained, if I recall. So quick flash of the eye. Yeah, we're looking for 2448, and it's not there yet. It did run second interims, so it's probably had a pause there, and that's kind of what you'll learn about our method. No other method tells you when things are likely to rest. So if you find one, do tell me, because I'm interested. I'm always interested in things that can give guidance on the flight path. So overall, what's the long and short of it? Well, Bitcoin is on track, crypto is on track, but it's mature bull. It's not beyond the realms of impossibility that at some point you get a sharp slap in the face and a brutal little sell-off, but at the same time, this could continue to walk its way up, run the 17K, have a little blow-off move, and then get a short, sharp sell-off as well. So it's valuable when there's leverage to take off and to get your timing of when you scaled up. So we've been scaling up in the mix here, and that served us well. If you feel you can do that, by the way, do that once or twice well in an entire year's period, and you've effectively paid for being in a community of people that specialize in doing one thing very well. We've also been pulling in some other very useful sets. Hanging on to that which you'll make in this crypto reset season is pretty tough, and I'm talking about being tax efficient. So you can find out more about that as well by being in the community. That's it, guys. Crypto looking strong. Book a call if you want to have a chat. 17K, just shy. Could stop just shy, but I think it'll be sucked through that key level before it has a little bit of a maybe one of these again. That's that kind of price action there, or maybe a blow off and then a dip like that again. But overall, we have a target, and we've told you where that target is. It's 25K. So on your investment pots, this is the advice all the premium guys are getting. We've been reminded on a daily, you stay net long through this all. In other words, expecting macro upside continuation is our default position, and that's what we broadcast to you when we did the live stream here. And we also warned that you might dig a bit deeper, almost to the degree that it ended up occurring in reality. So hopefully we can put our shaky Ethereum call to bed there with being a little bit more on the money this time. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. We appreciate shares. We recognize not everybody has money to invest in learning. Grab the free mini series. Give us a share. That's how you say thank you. If you would really like to help as well, and you've got value out of the channel, there's also you can do a search of the Market Sniper on, I'll put a link below. In fact, give us a small review online. We appreciate it a great deal, and I'll give you the link below if you've got some value out of this. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you on the other side. Remember, it's entertainment. You make your own decisions. Always own your own outcomes. Thanks for watching, and book a call below, get the mini series, and do all the other things you want. Otherwise, just watch and enjoy. Bye for now.